All right, we are at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Biesick. I am the Technology and Communications Chair for NAEOP up here in the Pacific Northwest. Thank you all for joining us, whether you are a NAEOP member yourself or somebody from TRIO programs around the country. I am currently the Executive Director of the Oregon TRIO Association. Before that, I worked in the pre-college TRIO programs for about 6 years doing advising. We kind of have a odd thing we're doing out here in Oregon. We're now employed by our state association, but what I am here to do today is welcome you all and introduce our guest speakers. So we have been doing kind of a professional development series, specifically focusing on some tech topics about every other month. So today our NAEOP Tech Talk is going to be doing an Instagram deep dive. If you are new to this or it's been a while since you've been to one of these, if you have any interest on our website, naeoptrio.org, there's a tab at the top under events for professional development series. So we have been having monthly calls ongoing, just covering a variety of topics, recordings of all of those, most of those. I forgot to hit record on one of them, but recordings of most of those can all be found here where you can watch YouTube videos of each of our prior presentations. So we've done a couple of different things related to social media, doing some big picture overviews. We kind of did some deep dives of what that looks like for a TRIO program. We had a focus on Canva back in July, and today we are zeroing in on Instagram and how to utilize that within your TRIO program. So I am excited to introduce our two our panel of guest speakers today. These are folks who have very active and robust Instagram profiles for their TRIO programs out here in the NAEOP region. So I'm going to have each of you just kind of introduce yourselves first, and then I'm going to hand it over to them, and they'll kind of have a presentation to go through with you, as well as a bunch of Q&A portions where you can just kind of ask questions, and this can be a nice collaborative session to get some fun ideas about how to improve your Instagram account. So let's start first with Brianna, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm B. I work at the Shasta College TRIO department for student support services. Yeah, that's it.
Well, nice to meet you, Brianna. I am also Brianna. My name is Brianna Paradise. I am an academic advisor for the TRIO SSS Transfer Opportunity Program here in Roseburg, Oregon. Definitely more of a rural focus out here. So I kind of do the social media as a small piece of my advising job, if that makes sense.
Thank you. And Sam, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone here?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha Jimenez Castro. Also, I go by Sam. And I work for the TRIO McNair Scholars Program at Idaho State University. I am currently getting my MBA, and I am a graduate teaching assistant for them. But my main role is social media marketing. So that's what I do for the program. And then I also worked with educational talent search before I got into my master's program, also doing social media marketing and advising. So I will go ahead and start sharing my screen and we can get into the presentation. Can everyone see this? I really hope so. Yes. Okay, I'm getting a yes from Brianna. Perfect. Okay, welcome everyone. Today we're going to learn how to Instagram. I know we have 1 hour, but we're going to give you the most necessary information that you guys need to kind of help elevate your Instagram profiles to help with recruitment of TRIO students. So first and foremost, what is Instagram? Instagram is a social media platform that shares photos, graphics, and now videos, also known as Reels. And the large majority of people who use Instagram are millennials. That's the largest population on this app, as well as Gen Z. So in order to use our Instagram to really help optimize it, to reach our students, to be a recruitment tool, we're going to learn a little bit about search engine optimization. I know it sounds scary. I promise it's not. It's also known as SEO. And we're going to talk about what that is and how to utilize it for Instagram. So SEO, what is it? It's a way for your website, your Instagram account, anything that's on the internet, for it to be easily found online when something is searched up that's related to your website, your Instagram account, whatever it may be. And it also ranks you higher on the search list based if you optimize your account for it to have the certain keywords, it needs to be ranked higher. So search engine optimization, it sounds like, oh, this sounds like it has to do a lot of work. We have to do a lot of research, but not really. All we need to optimize our Instagram accounts is to understand keywords. And what are the keywords that are relevant to our programs and our Instagram accounts? So if you guys don't have something to take notes on, please feel free to pull that out right now, either a pen or paper, or if you're taking notes on your computer, perfect. This part will also ask for you guys to participate, ask questions. So here is my Trio bio account, Instagram bio account for the McNair Scholars Program. If anyone in the chat, or if you would like to speak up real quick and just let me know, what are the things that you noticed or notice in this bio?
Hi, oh, sorry, my camera's on. My name is Nancy Hernandez, WSU Trio. One of the first things that I saw was the link tree. I actually have looked you up that way. I follow you on TikTok, a little bit of a creep, but I like to see what other Trio programs have connected so that I can connect with you that way.
Perfect, thank you, Nancy. Anybody else want to give one more thing they noticed from my bio? Maybe the words. Does anyone notice any repetition of words, I guess? Yes, I'm seeing some head nods. Okay. So we're gonna workshop some keywords together that are relevant to our individual Trio programs. So who is our target audience? We're gonna figure that out for each of our programs here today. So I'll give you an example of what Trio McNair's target audience is, and then you go ahead and either put in the chat or speak up and let me know what your target audience is for your program. So some keywords for our target audience for Trio McNair would be first generation and limited income student or underrepresented. So that's an example of who our target audience is. Would anyone like to share what theirs is? Oh, let me open up the chat. Sorry, I couldn't see the chat until right now. Awkward, guys, sorry. Okay, emojis, Linktree. What is Linktree? We'll get to that. The word research popped out. Linktree is a way to provide relevant information. Linktree is a domain, quite literally. Perfect. Can anyone tell me what their target audience is for their particular program? A hint I guess I can give is it's written in our grants.
Good afternoon. This is Yesenia Bernal Alcala, and I'm from Aquinas College and in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And our target audience is first gen, low income, and students with disabilities.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing, Yesenia. Liz, community college students, first gen, low income. Juan, first gen, low income, students with documented disabilities. Perfect. Okay, we all kind of get the gist of who our target audience is depending on the program. First gen, low income, middle school and high school students. Yes. Okay, perfect. So for our target audience, we have to be very specific on who we're targeting specifically with keywords, because it sums up who we're trying to reach, especially if someone visits our profile. So what I've written down, veterans, yes, come on, first gen income, is first generation and limited income students, whether that be college, high school, middle school, veterans, or underrepresented students, right? We all kind of first gen, limited income, and some sort of specific type of students that we're looking to recruit. So now we're going to move on to services offered. When you are pitching, when you are recruiting for your program, what are the key words? What are the phrases, if you will? What are the services that you first talk about when you're recruiting to somebody or trying to explain what your program is? So I'll give an example for McNair's. Holistic advising. Perfect. Thank you, Maria. For Trio McNair, the first thing I say is that we are a research-based program that prepares students to go to graduate school. That's kind of sums up. There's obviously a lot more services that we offer. There's so much more that we do in the McNair Scholars Program, but that sentence or those few phrases or words kind of sums up the key elements of our program. So let me see something else. Advising, tutoring, perfect. Transfer assistance, perfect. Holistic advising. Okay, so here is some key word ideas based on services offered on the programs that we provide for students based on TRIO programs. So are you a college preparation program? Are you helping students complete their GED? Are you helping them complete their bachelor's, you know, depending if they're an SSS program? Are you preparing them for grad school like McNair program? Is it a research program? Is it a math and science program? I forgot to put, is it veterans service-based program? So this kind of encompasses overall what your program does in short few words. And a lot of these things that you guys mentioned fall under these different keywords or topics. Okay, the last keyword section is location. So I am a TRIO McNair program. I work for a TRIO McNair program, but I'm not targeting all first generation limited income and underrepresented students in the country. I'm only targeting students here at Idaho State University, specifically in the Pocatello, Idaho area. Can anyone provide me what they would consider as an important keyword or term based on location for their program? Grant County, Central Washington, University of Oregon, perfect. I should probably make this bigger. Central Washington University, Oregon State University, perfect. Aquinas College, Grand Rapids, MIA. Perfect. Treasure Valley, yes, perfect. Western Washington, University of Washington, perfect. Okay, y'all got this. So location is basically knowing what are your key cities, areas, schools, or universities that you serve, right? And a lot of you guys were listing them. We're aware of them because that's what our grant says, and as well as where we work. So why are these keywords important? Based on this last slide, we wrote down who our target audience was, right? Specifically to the areas that we serve, as well as what type of program are we based on the services we offer. So those few keywords, we're going to use them in our Instagram bio. For example, I had a student when I was tabling not too long ago and said, oh, you're TRIO. I know who you are. I found you, I think through Google. They're like, and then I also saw your TikTok and Instagram, because when they typed in Idaho State University, one of the first accounts that were associated with it was our ISU McNair page. So like, yeah, you help first-gen students, right? Can I learn more about it? And I was like, wow, look at it, it's working. I used the keywords, and a student who was searching up information about ISU and who happened to be coming to ISU found us and wanted more information. So this is why it's important to have these key terms in our bio and throughout our page, whether it be in hashtags and in video and graphics that we create. Because one, we're building repetition to help our program name be associated with the things that we're providing. Because if a student, say, is interested in research and all I have in my Instagram bio is ISU TRIO McNair, they're going to think that this program is probably irrelevant to them and have no idea what it is, because it's not explaining the key elements of what this page is about and what this program is and what it has to offer to the students here on this campus. Along with the hashtags, the same key terms and even more key terms, this is depending on what you share, will be used in your hashtags on Instagram as well as the videos and graphics. So now I'm going to turn it over to Brianna so she can cover content.
Yeah, so Reels are a little bit contemporary of an update for Instagram, whereas before you could post photos and videos and they would just show up as traditional Instagram posts. They have now made it where any video you upload is going to turn into a reel. And what it does is it mimics kind of the TikTok For You page of the format of just scrolling video after video after video. So that's just kind of explaining what Reels is. So we'll go ahead and talk about how we consider our audience and the content that we create. Like I said, I live in a very rural area, so I just want to make sure that I'm curating content that's really applicable to their situations and their actual college experience. Also keeping in mind language, keeping it really simple and digestible. This is TRIO, so we're serving a lot of first-generation low-income students who probably have little experience with the college system or the education system. So just being very user-friendly in the language that we use and making it easy to understand. So, like I said, Reels and TikTok have a lot of parallels now. So I actually prefer to start on TikTok. I just prefer their video editing, the in-app video editing a lot better than Instagram. For instance, one of the ways that I use TikTok's video editing is they have a filter that does a green screen. So I don't have to bother with actually putting up a real green screen and editing the video myself. They've made a filter that does all that work for me, which makes it really accessible. Whereas before, maybe it wasn't. Another tip for kind of creating that video content is focusing on the audios. So that's a big thing with TikTok is audios will go viral rather than videos. So it's always a good idea to kind of like hop on those audio trends. Like think the corn kid that's been circulating for the past couple weeks. It's corn, you know? So always kind of keeping trendy audios and sound bites in your repertoire. Also using keywords that maybe describe really quickly what your video is about. This helps with understanding, and it also helps with students being able to identify that particular video in your profile, so that way they're not kind of like scrubbing through all of your content trying to look for one specific video that they need. Both TikTok and Instagram also have auto-generated captions. This is great for a couple reasons. Number one, obviously, it's fantastic for accessibility reasons. People who are hard of hearing can now completely understand every single word I said in my video. Also, algorithms tend to favor videos that utilize that auto-generating of captions. So just try to get into the habit of clicking on that button and allowing it to auto-generate. You can also edit those auto-generated captions. So if it picks up a word incorrectly, you can actually go back and revise it to make it say what you actually said. Another point to keep in mind is algorithms favor shorter videos versus longer form videos. So we're not going to be making 10-minute explanation videos on anything. TikTok has formats of 15 seconds, 60 seconds, and 3 minutes. 15-second videos have the most virality. 1-minute videos also have some virality. The 3-minute videos are the ones that really just don't take off that much because there's way less of a chance of a person sitting through the entire thing or watching it multiple times, which makes it undesirable to the algorithm. Also, we want to keep our content short because we know more now than ever, people have short attention spans. And our students, we want to give them very bite-sized, digestible content that they can watch a couple of times and really get the main message and hopefully use it to become a more successful student. Also, one way that we can create content is through the purpose of educating. And that kind of sounds like redundant because we're all in education here. But think really simple micro explanations. I have a video up that explains the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans. So just making a 1-minute video explaining the differences can help a lot of people understand, you know, what that actually means. So you can really take advantage of that. I often take inspiration from the questions I get from students in my office. And so if I have a great question from a student, I'll jot it down and then make a TikTok about it, knowing that if one person has that question, there's probably 100 other people on campus with that question. And then the last point I want to make about video content is that you quite literally can just show what you do. And like I have a video explaining how to get to our building from the front entrance because we're kind of in this weird spot all the way back in campus. And that was something I kept hearing, like, oh, I'm not sure how to get to your building. So I made a video about it. And it was very well received. Also, showing your space. For instance, we have a computer lab. I really like to show that space off. There's tables, couches that appeal to students to come here and spend time here on campus doing their schoolwork or their projects or just, you know, decompressing in our zone over here. You can also showcase the individuals in your program, introduce everyone. That's a really easy way to get your students familiarized with the people in your program before they ever even step foot in your office. And I think that is a really fantastic thing that we can do that maybe previous generations of TRIO were not able to do. So those are my content making tips. So stories, I'll just introduce stories really fast. Stories are a little bit different because they have a temporary lifespan on your page. They actually go away after 24 hours. So I'm gonna pass it back over to Sam and she's just gonna describe it a little bit more in depth.
Perfect. Thank you, Brianna. And then someone asked about your TikTok account. I put McNair's if you would like to share what your TikTok account is. So yes, stories are a very unique feature to Instagram. However, now TikTok is also copying this feature. So you'll see that a lot of these features are going to be integrated and copied from the different platforms, especially because Instagram and Facebook, they're integrated. So if you share something on Instagram, it could also be shared on Facebook if you run a Facebook account. So stories, what makes them so valuable, what makes them helpful to engage with your students? Like Brianna mentioned, when you post something to your stories, it is only for 24 hours. What's kind of engaging for the students is most students are not going to your page every day and looking at what you're posting. Even scrolling through all the feed, they're not probably doing that. But what our students doing is looking for quick notifications, and that's what stories allows for the students to do, is look at quick updates. What are people sharing? What are people talking about with having to scroll through their feeds? So one of the tips that we recommend is if you're making an Instagram reel, if you just posted an Instagram reel, if you posted a graphic, if you posted a photo, whatever it is you posted, post it to your stories. But don't just leave it there and don't say anything. Add some sort of interactive feature. Instagram stories has a lot of features. There's this little button where you can change the emoji and you can scroll how much you like or agree with whatever was shared. If you're sharing some sort of educational tip, ask a question about the video and then have the students answer and see if they get the question right, which will then make them watch the video if they want to get the question right. Also put a link there if your application is online. There's a link now where students can just click on the link and be directed to the application. Also a poll, ask them if the students agree or disagree with whatever it is that you shared, or take a roll call. Who here is first gen? I'm first gen, I'm not first gen. Questions, asking the students questions based on whatever it is that you just shared in your stories. All of these tools is basically to help you engage with the student and have the students engage with your profile, because the more that students are engaging, not TikTok, Instagram will push your content to the top when they're scrolling, because there's more engagement through their stories. With that being said, do we have any questions? I know that was a lot to digest, and we kind of really want to make sure you guys got like the really important information on how to optimize your profiles, as well as like what to focus on, which is Reels at the moment, and how to utilize stories. However, I just made our Instagram last week. Hey! Oh, thank you, Juan. Appreciate it. There's people. Patricia says, do you have one person posting or various people? So I run, as soon as I'm done answering this question, I'll move on to you, Brittany Wilson. So what I do is I use Facebook and Instagram. We run both accounts, but we are more heavily used on Instagram because the college students here on our campus use Instagram more. So what I do is I use the planner in Facebook to schedule content out for the month or the week. If it's just posting once a week, if it's posting 3 times a week, it depends, right, on if you have a designated person or if it's something that you're just doing on the side, kind of like what Brianna mentioned. So I schedule posts via Facebook planner, so it gets posted on my Instagram. I hope that answered your question. Do I have one person? Yeah, so just one person. And then Brittany Wilson, I know you had a question.
Hello, have you noticed a certain time that you post throughout the day, like where you would get more views, possibly like midday or morning? Is there a certain time that you try to post?
Yeah, so actually on Instagram, if your account, if you have it as a creator account, and then you, for example, like on mine, I'll show. Mine is an education right here. Education account, creator account. So it allows me to view insights, and I get to see those things as optimal times that more people are awake or on the app. But as well as with the Facebook planner, when I'm scheduling things, it also tells me the optimal times for each day. So I don't have to sit there and kind of like write notes down through Facebook. It tells me the times on Instagram where students will be more active or the people following us will be more active. I will mention, however, most of the time ours is later on in the evening. And sometimes I'll do that, but most of the time I won't, because it's important that if students are leaving comments or messages, that we respond to those in a timely manner, like in the first hour that something's posted, to help improve engagement. But I'm pretty sure people don't want to be at 10 o'clock at night responding to Instagram, questions or feedback, because, you guys do already work from 8 to 5, depending on your schedules. So what I do is I just try to post early in the morning, depending on a certain graphic. If I want it at an optimal time, I will do that and choose the time that Instagram or Facebook suggests to me. But it's up to your personal preference if you want to think of that way. I hope that helped. Brittany?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Brianna, if you want to jump in, feel free. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through the questions.
Yeah, no worries. I also wanted to add on that timing question. I personally like to put out content end of day Friday, because I know over the weekend my students are going to be on their phones because they're not in class or at work. So sometimes I'll post end of day Friday, come back on Monday morning, and it has a ton of likes that occurred over the weekend. So that is one of my favorite times.
That's a good tip. That's a good tip. What apps do you use for Reels and TikToks? The app that I use a few different ones. I will use the TikTok app, but as well as I also use this app called CapCut. I can put it in the chat. And what I do is it allows for me to download audio from TikTok and make videos that are relevant to TikTok and what's trending, but without having the TikTok trademark, the mark on it. So when I save it and post it, I can post it to both platforms versus having to wait for it to be posted to TikTok and then downloading it and then sharing it on Instagram. However, I do that as well. I will just create something on TikTok, download it, and post it on Instagram. But Brianna, I don't know if you want to add your.
I don't know how to use CapCut yet. It's something that I definitely want to learn how to use, just because you can get a little bit more technical with the edits that you do. You have a little bit more like tools. But honestly, I just do all my editing and stuff through TikTok. It's super simple and straightforward. There's a million tutorials on how to do edits on YouTube. So if you see like a trend, like sometimes I'll see trends of like a video and then a whole bunch of photos that are like to the beat of a song. And there's usually YouTube videos that will show you exactly how to like recreate that TikTok for yourself. So for me, TikTok is going to be where I'm editing my videos, but Instagram also has a lot of the same basic editing features. So either one really is okay.
Good tip, Brianna. Good tip. Is your account business account or creator account? Oh wait, before that was Maria Sanders. If you post a story but you want the content to stay, do you make two separate posts? Like if you want what you shared to your story to stay for a second day, I think I need a little bit more clarification on that question, Maria.
Well, with stories, there is, so when you go right before you post the story, it does give you the option to download it to your phone or your computer or whatever you're using. So you can keep it that way. There also is a way to like highlight archived stories on your profile. It's not something that I've gotten to utilize yet on my page, but I do know it exists somewhere.
Oops, sorry, I just realized I was still sharing.
Thank you. I'm a total Instagram novice. Like I have it, but I don't really use it actively. So I'm trying to understand. Some of these things. Mostly I was thinking like, it would be great to to do a story format for like an upcoming event that's happening right away. But then I would like a history of that in our account, I guess. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense, but I think I got some clarification.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what you're describing exists as a feature on Instagram. I just don't know like how to direct you guys to it because I don't use it myself.
Okay.
Yeah, with the stories too, I actually, when you said it, it kind of clicked in my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, I do that. So my Instagram posts, I usually will make in Canva. And if you get Canva Pro, there is a resize option. And one of the options is story size. So I can take a square post and stretch it out to be story size. I just kind of have to move some things around just to make it kind of look polished. And then I can rip that image and then post it on my story. So I will do that sometimes where I have the actual static Instagram post and then a similar story up top just to cover both of those feeds.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Canva, shout out to Canva. I use that all the time. It's easier and faster than Adobe Suites. And And so it's complicated as well. So yes, shout out to Canva. That helps a lot. Liz Valle, your question is your account a business account or creator account? I don't see insights or ad tools. So I use a creator account on Instagram because I don't want, basically all the songs are going to be copyrighted and flagged if you have a business account, which takes away the point of us doing the reels and doing trending songs, because you'll be limited to very, very few songs. So that's why I recommend a lot of the Trio accounts to be creator accounts, and then you can choose education or whatever it is that you fall under, to be able to access the insights to view those things, as well as not be limited by audio and copyright infringement and things of that nature.
Can I ask a question? I'm curious if anybody has had any, because both of you seem to have gotten the rubber stamp from your institution to run social media accounts for your wing. I've heard sometimes there can be issues where a college or an institution doesn't want to hand the reins over completely. Did you all have to navigate that or do some convincing on your end to kind of get full control? Or if anybody else out there, have you had struggles or had battles you've had to fight to get full access to run your own account?
I was actually talking to Sam about this like an hour ago, how I like basically to every department, I'm like, why don't you just start your own account? And they're like, well, it's not that simple. We can't do that because essentially the college has a marketing team that already hosts social media platforms. And I guess they think it just will get too muddy, too complicated if each department has its own profile pages. However, because TRIO and the Transfer Opportunity Program are grant funded, we're kind of like a little separate division of the college, and that actually carved out the space for us to have our own social media pages. So I can't attest to everyone's college how that's going to work, but that's how it worked for me.
To back up Brianna's point as well, because we have that we were federally funded, as well as that we are technically not recruiting for ISU, as far as for students to come to ISU, because we can't. I'm sure the different programs were also housed at the different universities also know that as well, that we are here to help students and that our funds do come from government funds. So like Brianna said, that's kind of how we got it, as well as our campus as of right now hasn't put a stop to the different programs that have now started adopting Instagram on campus. I'm not sure if anyone else has any more experience.
I'll share for us. I'm at Big Bend Community College in Moses Lake. We have an SSS program. So we started out with a Facebook account, but we did have to ask permission from our marketing and communications department to have an Instagram account. And there was a process for that. Like we had to prove that we were posting and using social media and abide by marketing guidelines and different things. But we asked and tried to, show a need. And then we just always make sure to tag the institution and relevant departments on campus. And I know they've enjoyed that and have liked that, we're helping, access more resources and get more students connected to the college. But similar to what Sam was saying, no recruitment for the college.
And then I saw another question from Brittany Wilson, that you've noticed that your Instagram, since it's under education, you don't get popular trending songs. Do you know by chance if yours is a business account or a creator account? Oh.
She might be typing in chat. Well, while that's waiting, I know, because Brianna, you obviously are coming from an SSS program. Sam, most of the stuff you've been doing recently is McNair, but I know you have like some pre-college experience before in a previous position. What is like kinds of content that you think is right? Because like why we really promote that this kind of stuff matters now. This used to feel like a silly thing and being on social media 5 years ago, but we've all experienced, particularly with COVID, like there's such a communication just desert out there that it's so hard to get the attention of your students. And if you're relying on voicemails or emails, like they're just not going to notice you. So you need to go where they are, whether your boss or whoever it is maybe thinks social media or Instagram is kind of a waste of time. Like this is where they are and where they exist. So whether it's even middle school students, right? If you have talent search programs. So are there any like suggestions or ways to kind of create content that is more appealing to high school students and middle school students that aren't necessarily just like on your campus, aren't already looking at your institution site and for things related to your institution? Like, how do you get their attention?
Yes. So I have a whole workshop on this, but I will do my best to try to give like as much tips as I can. As far as knowing your audience, kind of what we talked about earlier in the presentation, I'm pretty sure the pre-college youth programs see like students are very different. Even for me that I went to the high school and graduated not too long ago, like they're just different in the way that they communicate and the things that they grab onto. However, with that being said, if we recognize the trends that are going on TikTok, we can use it to our advantage and apply it to the things that are relevant for our program for them. So, for example, the basic tips I will give you if you're going to create a TikTok or a reel that has more of an opportunity to go viral, it has to be 15 seconds or less. Stick to one topic and you use a trending sound. And if there's a trending edit that is happening in the video, do that as well. Basically copy that whatever is trending and then apply it to your program. But try to stick to one topic if possible. I can try to give an example. I'll try to share my screen right now of like one of our TikTok videos that went viral, and I can explain why it went viral, and hopefully that helps. So give me 1 second to pull that up. Come on, TikTok. Here we go. Okay, let me share this. And if the sound doesn't work, it's okay. Okay, let me see. Brianna, if you could let me know, if you can hear it?
心中するために今日まで生きてきたのです。きっとそうです。ザザああ。私はあなたと心中するために今日まで生きてきたのです。きっとそうです。ザザああ。
Okay, so in this video, it got 40,000 views. And I think what it really breaks down to is, one, it's talking directly to who we're looking to target. Here it says we're looking for first-gen college students. So someone's first-gen and we're like, did you know? I'm asking them a question. I'm hooking them in. A really big part of making videos is hooking them in. So if you're not making hooks, make hooks. And then I'm letting them know what we do. We help college students get PhDs, first-gen students. It's very simple. It's the basis of our program. And I'm asking, did you know that there's a program that does that at Idaho State University? And then I have my coworker saying, yeah, that's us. And it's just like, see, gotcha. And it's like a 8-second video. From this video, we had students calling from Texas asking about our program. How can they be part of the program? They're first gen. So I guess once this video did go viral, it helped show the other TRIO programs on campus, as well as like the program I work for, that there is validity to this if you kind of learn how to do it. And that's the hard part, right? That we're trying to figure out, one, how do you edit it? And then what trend and what words do you use? And like we were mentioning in our presentation, simple terms, the better. Use a hook, 15 seconds or less, stick to one topic, use a trending sound. If you'd like, I can show you one more just for giggles. I can show you one that didn't do well, and I can explain to you why.
Yes! So if you're an ISU student, make sure to check out the TRIO McNair program. See how it can benefit you and your academic goals. And if you're not from ISU, find out if your campus offers TRIO programs. Yes! So if you're an ISU...
Okay. There was no hook. TikTok was going through a update of some sort. So when I was responding to a question, the question was not showing up here. That's that I was answering to. So it's just like Idaho State University, like the question was the hook, but you couldn't see it. So that was one of my first mistake.
Yes! So if you're an ISU...
Second is there's no auto captions. I'm talking this whole video, but there's no text auto captions for accessibility purposes, or if students are in class on their phones, for them to read what it is that I'm even talking about. And the third thing that you can see in the background, or that you could hear, is there's no sound. There's no trending sound. So even though the information was really relevant and I did the transitions and I said the stuff, I didn't have a hook. It wasn't clear what I was talking about. There was no audio sound. I hope that helps. I know there's a few other questions in the chat, but stop share. I hope that kind of helps gauge what to look for, what to do with the videos. There was another question. Oh, Brianna, if you'd like to add anything while I'm looking through the other questions. Sorry.
Honestly, you just can't be afraid to put your face out there. I think that's what I hear a lot from my colleagues on campus, is they're like, oh, I can never do what you do. I can never make these videos. And the truth is, anybody could do it. You just kind of have to get over that anxiety and just kind of put yourself out there. Because when you think about it, we see new people all the time. New people see our faces all the time on campus. I meet somebody new literally every single day. So it's not that big of a stretch for me to take my face and put it on our social media pages for our students to see. Because the information we put out is important, and I definitely want it to get to them.
Perfect. There's a question from Yesenia, which I think is a really good question. It says, on our grant, it states that we serve low-income first-gen students with disabilities. Is this attractive to students, and should we put it in our bio? So that's definitely something that has been a challenge, especially for the younger pre-college programs. When I worked in ETS, a lot of the students that I would talk to, and some of my other colleagues would talk to, they're like, well, that sometimes they'd get embarrassed because they're like, oh, it's for the poor kids, right? That's what they would say to each other in high school. So that was a challenge. So this is my tip. I'm definitely open to suggestions, to hear your thoughts as well, is to really focus on the first gen part on your social medias. Focus and make that the priority, explaining what first gen is in so many different ways. And in the comments, in different graphics, adding the limited income or student with disabilities piece. Or actually for SSS, I would recommend putting at least the student with disabilities piece in there, because it's important that we show that who we're targeting. Like, students with disabilities need to know that we're on campus and that this is a program for them. But as like the limited income piece, I've seen that as an issue with our pre-college programs, of them being like, well, it's for the poor kids and I don't want to get made fun of. And unfortunately, like, that is an issue that they come to us and tell us as to maybe why they're hesitant to come in and talk to us, or why they don't join. So I know that's something we do have to say, but if we could say it not as loudly, at least maybe for the pre-college students, and and putting it kind of in different ways in our content, but the first thing that they see is first gen or veterans, or that they're a STEM program for first gen students. I hope that helps. I don't know if anyone has any other feedback on that or disagree with my point.
I would love to comment too. This is a general Trio point, but our students, they don't necessarily care about Trio. They care about like you as the person who helps them. So like you happen to be in Trio, they get a lot of benefits because of it, but they mostly love Trio because they just have a person. It's their advisor, their specialist, their tutor. So like that's why they adore Trio. That's what they always remember is that person. Like they might even forget they were in a Trio program, but they remember that person. So if you're willing to put yourself out there and put your face on social media, like that's why they're going to pay attention, because it's you. It's not just some generic Trio graphic, one of those generic like drawings you can do in a YouTube video. Like they care and they're going to pay attention because it's you doing it. And the more you put yourself out there, like the more fun they're going to have and the more engaged they're going to be.
Thank you so much. This is Yesenia again. I'm the one who made the question. And so thank you so much for answering the question. But yeah, so we had students. So this is my first year being Trio, a Trio staff member. And we just have students that like don't know what SSS is. And so I just want to create that branding, but not also like if we teach your students, I don't want them to feel like, well, don't put me on your Instagram because you say that like I'm either low income, first gen, or student with disability. And so I just currently have like, we just help all like students, but I just wanted to know like what's the best way to navigate that so we can like build our branding, but also making sure that students are not outed for that.
What I've seen successful is focusing on or making videos about what they're doing. What are degrees that they're pursuing, doing a video introducing the students and asking like this or that type of questions, get to meet our students. Getting creative with the ideas on how to incorporate your students and making it about them and what they like and what they're doing versus, hey, you fit in this box. So that's what I found helpful, especially with McNair. Some of the videos I've been editing have been now more focusing on the students' research. And so I'm not just telling the students, we help with research. I'm showing them the students that are doing the research and what that looks like. So they can kind of see themselves, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've seen this with other accounts where have you guys ever tried giving the kind of like a student takeover where you let a student kind of post content on your behalf? Like, I know that could present a nightmare depending on what they put up with your name on it, but I'm just curious if that's been a successful way to generate interest.
We personally have it for the McNair program just because the students are super busy. So when I can get them to record, I do. But that's my 2 cents. Brianna, I know you were going to say something.
I was just going to make a point about the identities that we serve. I made a video really early on explaining my thoughts personally of what it means to be a first generation college student. And I think that was a really good way for me to reframe what that title means. Instead of being something to be like embarrassed about, it's like a huge point of pride for me. So getting to kind of get those thoughts out and that narrative about the generations that we serve being somebody who came from that same demographic. But for like student takeovers, I haven't done that yet, but I would really, really like to, and I'm really banking on this next set of like incoming freshmen this fall. I have a lot of students who have been at home on their computers and they're really eager to like get involved. And so I'm really looking out for those students who seem like they would be really eager to be in videos. So yeah, student takeover is definitely something I'll be kind of considering in the back of my mind when I'm finding those really eager students who want to work with me on this. But yeah, I think that's a great way to show relatability on your account to students.
particularly, so again, with the high school accounts, because students love when other accounts are mentioning them. So if you are doing field trips with high school kids, it's a way to get them posting lots of crap, tagging you. It all just snowballs and becomes a thing. All their friends see it. So that's oftentimes the sexiest way you can appeal to these high school kids who you're trying to get their attention. You're like, oh, they're the group that like gets to go to college universities or do these trips or goes and like gets to watch a musical or a play. Like those are the times to let your students do a takeover. And then suddenly you could just see your account blow up overnight, especially if it's new, because they follow each other. So the best way to do that is kind of get them excited about you more or less reposting their stuff and circling them back to your Trio program.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Matt said, the idea of don't just tell students, show them, literally means show them the students, show them what they're doing, showing what they're working on. Because I mean, we've also seen ads where like, we do this, and it's like, okay, cool. But actually, whenever you have the chance, I know it's hard because like we're not video producers, we're not having these fancy cameras, we don't have all this money to be like recording and taking professional pictures, and that's fine, and we don't need that. For what we need right now is if you are doing trips, to designate a student or somebody on your staff to at least be taking pictures and short videos that later on can be used when you have time to create short form content like Reels or TikToks. Because like what Matt said, if students are seeing themselves, they want to share others. And that's what we've seen success with the SSS program here at this school as well, that they've also started to make Reels about the different trips that they go on, and that's how they share information on their Instagram stories and how other students find out about the program.
If I could, this may be bearing a lead a little bit, doing this right at the end. I've definitely, and this comes down to like your director and their comfort level of counting social media as services, but there are absolutely directors out there who they generate content that's designed to teach you about the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans and all that stuff. You find content specific thing that relate to your services. And like Sam had said, when it comes to those links, the forms, the links, if you can bring them to some online form or they answer a couple questions indicating that they actually watched your video and they sign it, like Department of Ed says, we don't need a wet signature anymore. If we have a name, if we have a timestamp, you can count that as a service. Now, again, that's going to come down to the discretion of your director if they are comfortable counting social media as more or less services, but depending on the content you put out there, it absolutely can fall under that umbrella. So something to consider as well.
I forgot I was gonna what Yesenia said and also what Brianna mentioned earlier for a question about like I guess learning to take pride in at least the statement or the words first gen, creating videos that show students that they can take pride in what they're doing. So if you guys like, I have this one video that kind of shows students taking pride in being first gen, and maybe that will help generate some more ideas for others. I know we're running low on time, but I'll show this one video and then see how it goes. Share. This one shares
Yeah.
now.
While you're sharing, I did see that in the chat. I think a lot of programs.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, a lot of programs I think do build a consent form into the application itself. So pretty much any student that's enrolled in your program, you do kind of have that consent to use their likeness.
So here's the video. It says the brain emoji, and it says, you can't earn multiple degrees. It's not for you. And then afterwards, your heart is talking, and it says, being first gen, earning multiple degrees while increasing diversity in academia. So you're not listening to the negativity, you're listening to yourself, and you're taking pride in what you're doing and what you're going to accomplish for yourself and for others in the future. So that's just a quick stop share. I hope that helps sparks ideas as far as not focusing too much on the other or at least the limited income portion, which I feel like a lot of students kind of hesitate about, and focusing on the first gen piece.
Awesome. All right, well, if there are any other questions, feel free to stay on and keep asking away, but we are right at 4 o'clock. So I want to thank you all for joining. Again, if you want to show this to anybody, any staff, the recording is going to be on the NAEOP website. The next time we're doing one of these tech topics, we're going to be focusing on InDesign. I know we kind of dumped on the Adobe Cloud a little earlier for this kind of stuff, but InDesign can be a different method to do some flyer creation stuff. So that'll be coming in November if you have any interest in learning more about that. So with that being said, thank you so much, Brianna and Sam. This was wonderful, and hopefully you all can go out there and make some awesome content.
Woohoo! Thanks, Brianna. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you so much, everyone.